Hello everyone, this is your teacher Julian Marin. Today we're going to review Martes de Prueba number 3 for the 8th grade in the year 2026. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to start sharing so we can take a look to the test. So it's right here. Here you can see it. As I always tell you, the first thing we need to do is identify what kind of exercises we have. And here you can see two headings with instructions. And then on the first one, the first type of exercise we have two questions. And then for the second one, we have three other questions. Let's focus first on questions 21 and 22 and the kind of exercise we have right here. See? So the question right here is where can we find these labels or these signs, right? So this is one of those cases in which we need a very, very specific knowledge of context and also vocabulary, because this particularly I found tricky in question number 1, and I will tell you why. Sorry, not number 1, 21, and I will tell you why. So let's first read what the label or the sign says. It says, imported by. That is very important information. But then we have a name. Notice that we have James, Busty, Fine, Spirits. These letters in capital. That what it means, what it's telling us is that this is a name. So this is a brand, right? Because when it says Fine Spirits, right? And Busty is a very important word in this context because this happens to be a characteristic when we're talking about wine, right? So if you don't know this, you may think it's a last name or something like that. But in this case, it's going to be very relevant for choosing the correct answer. And then we have an address, right? We have 800 Turang Road, Turunga 3146 in Australia, right? So this company is importing something and they are located at this address. That is the information we have so far. Very important to take into consideration, because then where could we find a label like this? And the options are A, in a bottle of liquor. That, according to what I already mentioned, is a good option. B, in a DIY store. This is also very important. Having knowledge of what it means, DIY, happens to be do it yourself. So those kind of things that you have to construct on your own. You buy a table and then you have to assemble it on your own. That is just one example. So in this case, not a good option because of the keyword that is busty, right? And then the third option will be C, on a bottle of perfume, right? So for this case, I will suggest that the correct answer is A. But this is just one of those examples in which they are evaluating your level of knowledge of vocabulary. Like in this case, for example, we have this word, which is key, and then we have an acronym. You are in a test, you don't have the opportunity to look in the web. So you need to know this previously. DIY means do it yourself, okay? Now let's evaluate number 22, question 22. The label says, do not eat grapefruit or drink grapefruit juice at any time while using this ointment. So in this ointment, when they're talking about ointment, is talking about a lotion, It's a lotion that is used on the skin, right? So let's evaluate the three options. A, in a grocery store ad. B, in a marketplace banner. Or C, on a medical prescription. Okay? So, in a grocery store, they're not going to give you directions on how to use an ointment, right? Because essentially you're buying groceries, something to cook, a breakfast, lunch, dinner. B, in a marketplace banner. So being in a marketplace, they're selling like products, all kind of products, not giving you like specific instructions, right? So C, on a medical prescription, this fits better the content of the sign, okay? So in this case, we have found the answers for 21 and 22. Let's continue. Let's scroll down so we can see exercise or the second exercise where we will find questions 23, 24, and 25. So let's see. Over here you have on the left some descriptions. Sometimes we find definitions, some other times we find descriptions. And then on the right, we have some specific vocabulary, these words here on this column. Notice that on the left column, we have three options or three questions. And on the right column, we have four. This is intentionally, as we have discussed before, the intention is to increase the level of difficulty in this exercise. So the first thing I would do would be reading the type of vocabulary we have on the answers, possible answers, to understand what kind of vocabulary we are evaluating or checking. So we got proud, we have astonished, we have hilarious, and we have thoughtful. What do they have in common? These are characteristics, okay? Characteristics of emotions, personality. We're talking about adjectives, okay, very specifically. And then on the left, we're going to start checking one by one to see which description or definition fits better with the options. 23. This person shows consideration or cares for others, okay? In this case, I will suggest thoughtful. This is a person who shows consideration and cares about how other people feel, right? 24. This adjective, yes, you see it over here specifically, they're telling you what kind of vocabulary we are evaluating. This adjective expresses a big surprise or amazement. So in this case, astonished would be the one that fits this description. Amazed, surprised, astonished would be synonyms. And then we have the final one, 25. This word expresses great enjoyment, joy, or happiness. And then we have proud, and we have hilarious. Now, which one fits better? The one that fits better is hilarious, right? Because the feeling of pride, right? Feeling pride, it could be enjoyment, joy, not so much happiness. So this is a tricky one, but I will choose hilarious, okay? So with this, we're finishing the review for this occasion. I thank you very much for watching. And also, we'll invite you to continue checking on the reviews. Please like, subscribe to the channel, share and promote so other people can watch these videos and benefit from these reviews. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in the future.